Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome everyone to Undrafted Uncensored. For whatever reason, I cannot get comfortable in this hat today.
Yeah, Undrafted Uncensored, where Nick can't decide which way to put his hat, like the Yankees can't decide how to field baseballs.
Just like Colin can't understand the English language.
That's all, folks.
Don't be angry, Nick.
Because it's all your fault.
It is my fault. I told you I was going to send it to you
because I got $75 out of it.
Well, it was actually $135 and then another $275 because I bet last December on the Dodgers.
Greedy fucking asshole. And I think it's funny until it affects me.
I told you I wasn't going to send it to you, but when you said you were putting the blame on yourself, I wanted to deflect that.
It wasn't my fault. I fucking moved.
Nope. You just said it was Colin's fault.
The exact same spot that I did for game 4 or for game 5 or for game 4 that I did for game 5. The only difference was I moved when I went to go get my food out of my French fucking microwave that took me 5 minutes to heat a bowl of pasta. And when I went and sat back down, I clearly didn't get the right spot because that's when everything fell apart.
No.
Okay, so you're saying Colin did nothing wrong and is totally free of blame.
Okay, cool.
My
live bet on the Dodgers winning when down 5-0 had nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all.
We still don't care because we don't care. We just don't care, Colin.
The prophet decided at one point that
so anyway,
that the Dodgers were going to win that game when they were down 5-0.
We understand that as an official, you need to maintain control of your football game for the entire length of the game and not just whenever it's convenient.
Then we go over that, Nick. Which game was this that they lost?
I was calling the.
Oh, was it your college or your high school
game? I was calling a game last night between Alameda and Conifer. I think that's who it was. And so it's getting a little chippy. You know, there's a couple kids that are kind of going at each other. Well, second play of the game, one kid ends up having to be transported by Ambo to the hospital.
I saw that.
Ends up breaking his leg, I guess, and was put in air cast. So, I mean, it was already kind of a how's this game going to go moment. And there were these two kids about halfway through the second quarter. Like, they were just going at each other. Like, every time the play would end, one of them was on their back. And I'm like, that's going to get bad real fast. And so, you know, a couple things got a little chippy. They threw one personal foul before the half. And I'm sitting there with my camera guy, and I'm like, dude, this game's going to get out of control if they don't stop this. And again, it's pretty much just the same, too. But, like, other guys are kind of starting to see it because it's getting closer to the line of scrimmage, and then they'll go back because it's a wide receiver and a safety.
Okay.
And so finally, like, in the back of the end zone, after a play, you just see feet just fly. I'm like, nothing for that. Like, next to the official.
Oh, no.
Nothing. And I'm like, it's going to go, dude. It's going to go down. And sure enough, like right in front of two officials, one of them finally chucked the other one again and then was just laying on top of him and, you know, not punching him, but like bullying him, laying on top of him. And finally, they threw a flag. 3 plays later, he does it again, but this time he got caught for retaliation and, you know, spent the rest of the game on the sidelines. But I'm just like, I understand they worked a doubleheader. I worked 2 games too. I understand you're running out there, but at the same time, I'm watching the same game you are, and I'm watching more of it than you are. Every official has their zone, but at the same time, these kids are still kids, and they're going to take every inch they can get, and they're lucky no punches were thrown.
Yeah, that's a ref who is either too scared to enforce those kind of rules because he's afraid of what the players might do, or just doesn't give a shit. And either way, that's a problem.
Well, and I hate knocking officials because I've done it. And it gets frustrating. It's a tough thing to do, but you do it because you love the game.
Yeah.
You love being out there. You love having fun. 9 times out of 10, those kids are pretty awesome, actually.
I'm sure.
No screw with you. I loved officiating, but I was just like, if this is the last game that I do this year, I'm not happy with that officiating.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's something about keeping control of a game, especially when it's high school kids, and you don't know what can spiral around. And like you said, it was getting closer to the line of scrimmage. I saw from the start, I saw your ambulance, and the game was delayed half an hour, and the kid down on the field, which sucks. I hope he ends up being okay and is able. I don't know what year he was or anything like that. I don't know if you know or remember, but
couldn't get his number.
Okay, hopefully he has another year or chance to play, because I know that pain personally. Going into my freshman year, I broke my leg sliding into second base, and I couldn't play all of one summer. So that whole summer messed up a lot of things, because there could have been recruiting, there could have been obviously practice, just getting better. I mean, I was still one of only 3 freshmen to make the team my freshman year for JV, but it's still, you wonder with that time lost, what could happen to them. And, obviously there's nothing to regret. I wish my cleat didn't get caught in the dirt.
Oh,
but I wish I had that summer of playing baseball again, just to continue to improve, my game going into high school. And, being in high school, you just hope that that's not the way that it ends for them.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's a tough way to go. But when something starts like that, that someone is probably angry at the other person, much like what happened with CU and CSU last year. Mm-hmm. And the hit, they're like, those are bigger, stronger, faster athletes.
Yeah.
But there's anger between both of those squads after something like that happens, no matter if someone was in the wrong or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, it's not like you're a professional athlete that's holding on to Justin Herbert's leg and trying to roll him over like an alligator, and then you just get destroyed by his lineman, which, kudos to that lineman. That's what you need to do.
It's probably one of the plays of the year, the lineman coming in and just blasting him.
No, he's MVP right there. I have never seen a lineman move that fast in a long time.
Should we call that non-play of the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Non-play of the year.
I mean, there's like non-catches of the year, and that is like the non-play of the year, because he just comes from out of nowhere. You just see home dude grabbing Herbert's leg, and then boom, see you later.
Yep, see you later. Do you think Christain Braun got the dunk of the year last night?
Oh, I guess he posterized Rudy Gobert, didn't he?
Oh, did you not see it?
No, I was working the game, and I totally forgot about it.
Yeah, dude, sorry to switch gears a little bit, or we can just go back to whatever we were going to talk about before this. But dude, when he drives the hoop and Gobert is right there between him and the basket, and Braun just jumps up and two-hands it, and it forces Gobert like a step back. And so it almost looks a little bit uncontested, depending on which angle you're from, but he straight up dunked over Gobert, and Gobert is kind of reeling backwards a little bit. And so Braun goes up and does the, I just made a kick-ass dunk kind of towards the crowd, and Gobert didn't move. So Braun basically walks up into Gobert while flexing, and Gobert takes offense to this and puts Braun in a headlock and then throws him down by like the neck shoulder area. And my favorite quote, Alex is cutting up Michael Malone post-game stuff, and he's like, I'm just glad I didn't get out of hand. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean didn't get out of it? You mean because he got out of Rudy Gobert's hands that it was not out of hand? Like, what the fuck? Like, that was insane. And Christain Braun did get a taunting penalty also, which I think is unnecessary, but I guess technically that's taunting. But every time someone does a dunk like that,
that deserves to posterize that cat.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, a few things. So yes, his dunk, he went up and double clutch too and went off to the side. Yeah. So he goes up and down and then off to the other side of Gobert. And he is flexing, kind of walking at Gobert, but he's also walking towards Gobert's right side, Christian's left. So he's about like halfway on his body. They were meeting about halfway.
Yeah. And the issue was Gobert didn't move, I think.
Yeah, and it's kind of a headlock. Like, he puts his arm around him, but he doesn't cinch it up, all right? Like, he puts his arm, and then he throws him around.
This was the equivalent of saying, like, Pedro Martinez threw down Don Zimmer.
Yeah. he pushed him to the side.
Yeah, he deflected him.
You know, it is a headlock motion. I will give you that. So Christian, I don't think deserves that tech. You are right for sure, because he put him on a poster. He was celebrating and just walking. I mean, he could have walked completely the other way, but he also wasn't walking directly at Rudy Gobert, which is probably a smart move on his part. I mean, Gobert does have like a foot on him.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not a foot, at least like 7 inches.
It feels like a foot, though. And he was about to walk up, like I think it was Jaden McDaniels or somebody else, Alexander Walker maybe
Grabbed
of
him,
Minnesota, that grabbed him, pulled him away, because he was about to walk up and get right the fuck back in Gobert's face. And that was going to be awesome.
Yeah. The Minnesota player kind of saved Christian from possibly getting a little more wrecked there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he Gobert realized halfway through as he was almost putting him in the chokehold, like, oh, all right, I'm just gonna take it and put the other hand here and throw him to the side. But that was a great play, and it just sucks that didn't really propel the Nuggets, because they were in the lead and they should have taken a bigger jump at that point in time.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have just let Minnesota get back, and they did. They had up to, I want to say, a 9-point lead at one point after
10.
being down, and then they let them get back in. That's one of those put your foot on their throats and finish it, or keep your arms around their throats and finish it.
Yeah.
Unlike what Gobert did.
Put your foot on their chest as you walk over them.
Yeah. That was tough. It was tough to, I mean, I won. The only bet that I missed last night was Jokic getting 50 points, rebounds, and assists, and he ended with 48 free throws. We're talking about free throws here.
Talking about practice.
Practice.
The best free throw shooter on the Nuggets team is Aaron Gordon right now, guys. That's an issue.
Crazy.
That's an issue.
Oh, for sure. The fact that like we're seeing him be the guy that takes the threes. At least only in one game last night, but still, like, that's an issue. Even though it's fantastic to see, I would love to see more of it. If he can do that on a consistent basis, maybe not quite to that extent, but just take and make more threes. Because Gordon taking threes in the past few years has infuriated me and terrified me, almost to the point of Will Barton. Not quite that bad, because Will Barton was an exception. Like,
well, that guy.
Dude, just like, and yeah, good defender and all that for sure. But man, the amount of times he would just ruin the offense possession by just shooting it within 2 or 3 seconds. But like, yeah, it's an issue, even though it's a good thing to see from Aaron Gordon. If that's who you're relying on for that kind of shit, if you had told me at the beginning of the season that this, Aaron Gordon would lead the team in threes for one game and be
free throws, Joe, that I was talking about, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he would lead the team in threes for one game and lead the team in free throws for the whole season. Yeah. But I had to, finish.
You were sticking with the threes for a second.
Yeah, because that's more important. Free throws is
I would argue that those free throws are more important right now because of what happened in the game last night.
Maybe, but if the Nuggets can make threes and a couple of free throws don't make that big of a difference, but just because the Nuggets need 3-point shooting so much more. But yeah, that's crazy, though, that Gordon is the free throw leader. That shouldn't be the case. But that's how it goes. Like, he's the one getting fouled, so I guess that's how it is.
I don't know. I beg to differ. I think those free throws need to have those, because that's just free points right there. That's a free opportunity to get on the scoreboard. And I mean, we've seen the Nuggets this year so far have had quite a difficult time getting on that scoreboard so far, especially early in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Murray going out, I think, did hurt, obviously, with the concussion. He's in concussion protocol. I believe it was the third quarter he left the game. Yep. And the three ball is important. You are right, Joe. But when you're getting the free points at the line and you're shooting under 80% as a team, that's where the difference is made. When you have a guy like Jokic who does, it seems like he is getting more calls, at least at this point in the season. I mean, he shot 10 free throws last night, missed 2 of them.
Technically 80%, but yeah, that's not.
Well, yeah, for Jokic, but then you have a bunch of guys who all missed one.
Nick, is that you?
Yeah, I hear something.
No, I'm here.
There was some like, were
What do
you
you
playing
hear?
a video or something?
I have no audio on my video right now. I was
Oh yeah,
trying
I
to-
know. I heard something in the background, but you're
Yeah, I heard a video playing. Maybe it was me. I don't know. I just work here.
yeah. I mean, then you look at as far as the threes go, the Nuggets don't take a ton of threes, but MPJ is shooting worse than Aaron Gordon as far as percentage wise on the season.
That's hilarious.
You know, the Timberwolves shot basically 43% last night in this game from 3-point land and 51% from the field. The Nuggets from the field were 44% and 34%. So for them to be in that game, it really shows that their defense was really good. The only person, which oddly enough, that was, well, not the only person, but the only starter that was a negative in plus minus was Michael Porter Jr.
There it is again.
Whoa,
Is that you,
yeah,
Nick?
I hear a repeat. Do you hear the repeat, Nick?
I just closed out a tab.
Okay,
I'm just checking
Okay.
my status.
I think it might have been playing an advertisement on the tab that.
No, there was a repeat of me talking. Oh well.
I
You
can
might
actually hear what the words were.
a couple times on my end. That's weird.
So it's Colin's fault. Okay. So the Yankees weren't,
Well,
but this is. Got it.
The Dodgers weren't, but this one.
Well, I'm going to pull up that article real quick. Check on Jamal. He's not
Yeah.
playing tonight, by the way.
Yeah, against the Jazz in a back-to-back,
Yeah.
especially traveling back to Denver.
But
Yeah,
the problem was when I opened it up,
Uh-huh.
Colin was like, and so it got stuck in this weird loop. And so all I'm hearing is Colin go,
It's definitely his. I was
stop it.
push it real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need this. Well, I mean, we can finish up the Nuggets while we're there.
So yeah, the Nuggets do need to get better at their threes. I agree, Joe, but it's always been the free points at the line. When you're shooting under 80% as a squad, you know, Aaron Gordon, I believe at one point up until last night when he missed a field goal or missed a free throw, it hit 17 straight free throws.
Word.
So he's improved dramatically in that area. But what about the other guys? Especially if you have a guy like Westbrook who is going to attack the net, and the Nuggets are going to get some more foul calls than we've seen in the past, or at least it appears so early on in the season. You have to take those free points. And it's so much more important to me, in my opinion, in games that the Nuggets are going to play, because they are going to be much closer than they have been in the past. And that means more stoppages of play. And so you need to score points when the clock is stopped and take advantage of that, especially at the end of games, because teams are going to put you on the line to try and get back into it. And they're going to chuck up some threes to try and get back into it. But if you don't get those free points with the clock stopped, you are giving more time and possessions to the other team without any detriment. So that's where I sit with the Nuggets, even though as our friend Alex Botello so gracefully pointed out, the Nuggets have not led a game this season after the first quarter, or at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Not good. Not good, Jack.
Yeah, I remember when the Brooklyn game, it was one of those like, yeah, they haven't. It was the first time they've led since, I think the first quarter in the fourth, and then it went to overtime anyway, and it was just like, yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't
teams
lead
that
at
you
the end of the
should
first. They're going into every quarter behind.
Exactly. And that's a team that shouldn't be happening against.
Yeah.
Brooklyn's fucking like, I get it. Cam Thomas has been shooting the rubber off the basketball, shooting the material off of the basketball. It's been crazy, but that's still not a good team. Like, and same with Toronto. Like Scotty Barnes is much better than Cam Thomas. They've got a little bit more of a unit, but like that's still, those are two teams you should not be going into overtime against, period.
No, I mean,
Well,
I'm not trying to make excuses, but I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you think that stupid Abu Dhabi trip kind of played into how the Nuggets prepared? Because that was basically like a week and a half worth of just bullshit.
maybe. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's like the full reason why there's a whole plethora of reasons right now probably why the Nuggets are playing this way, but just the Abu Dhabi trip just seemed to kind of throw a wrench in the works.
I don't know, man. This feels like the classic slow start, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. not quite in the swing of things yet. It just kind of feels like the normal Nuggets slow start bullshit, but they just keep losing players every year that it looks more dramatic because the starters actually look pretty okay. The only question mark that it seems has been solved is the starting unit with Christain Braun coming in and actually scoring and playing good defense. Like, he's not a big 3-point shooter. He's been more of an inside scorer, which we all talked about in the offseason. Those are the two options for Christain Braun. Either he gets a 3-point shot or he just becomes more of an inside guy, which we've seen him dunk on guys in the not the finals run, like finals series, but during the finals run, he was getting some sweet dunks on people. So that's been really nice to see, but it makes your bench that much worse because now you have to replace Christain Braun on the bench. You have to replace Bruce Brown on the bench. You have to replace Jeff Green on the bench. And does Westbrook and Saric really do that?
Saric was minus 11 last night.
Yeah, Saric has been real
terrible.
Bad. He can get better. And Malone himself said that he needs to put him in ways that makes him more comfortable. But
on the bench next to Najee?
What's up?
Sit on the bench next to Najee, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a comfortable spot.
It's warm.
You know what? And he took he got the midi from the Nuggets. So if you put the 5-point whatever of Saric along with the 8 or 9 or whatever of Zeke Najee, you've got yourself a decent mid-levels worth of money you can make a trade for. You're going to have to put all of your draft picks in there as well to get anything decent, and it's going to have to be a guy that our team is trying to get rid of. But that may end up being the best use of Dario Saric. It's just that contract makes it so you can put it together, make $13-14 million, which is roughly exactly what Bogdanovich makes.
Well, and I'm not – so I don't want to make excuses because it has been bad, but also for Saric, I don't want to write this thing off at this moment in time. He's been bad. But you got to remember how long it takes some of these guys to adapt to how Jokic plays and how this team plays, and his role on this team. We've seen it happen before. Even if you look at Reggie Jackson last year for the Nuggets, when he came over the first year in the midseason trade, it was like, why do the Nuggets have him? Why did they re-sign him? But then he found his role within this offense and within the team, at least early on. But it takes some time to get used to how this team plays. And Michael Porter Jr., you mentioned him earlier. He, I don't know what is going on with his start. Jamal, I guess I expected it, so I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. What else? There's nothing else to say. I think it's all been said before. But MPJ, I expected a better start, and he's been a terrible swing man this whole. For 6 games of the year. I don't know. Maybe he needs to go to a P. Diddy party to learn how to swing again or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what is going on with him, but Nick's like, all right, I'm not any part of this anymore. See you later, guys.
Iron P. Diddy.
Guys, I got to.
That was a deep cut.
Yeah.
I just we were talking about white parties. Now Nick just went blackout.
Man.
I'm worried about what is going on with MPJ a bit. We've seen him kind of have these starts, but I expected more of him this season, especially with KCP gone. I think he is feeling the pressure of needing to be that guy that isn't, KCP's role, because KCP was, besides a defender, he was the just pop and shoot, hit 3 of them a game, and we're 2 or 3 a game.
3
and we're good to go. So maybe he's feeling that pressure. Like I said, I don't want to write off the Saric experiment yet.
No.
Just because it is early, but it hasn't been good. And, once again, if we wrote off Bo Nix after the first 2 games, then it would have all been, we wouldn't have seen some of the fun stuff that we've seen recently. So like I said, I don't want to do that with Sarge, especially because the Nuggets do need a backup big man, and he can hopefully fill that role because Zeke Najee definitely hasn't. just
also, to be fair, you did say Bo Nix was a bust after 2 weeks.
Oh, of course I did.
So, if we did what I did in the first couple of weeks, that'd be ridiculous.
No, I said it wasn't looking good at all. Like I was like, I don't know what's going on, but but what I really shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, for the Nuggets and for MPJ and the start. You said they were like losing to, or they were just letting these not very good teams hang around. I mean, the Nuggets really aren't that good of a team right now. Like, that's just kind of what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Their first five, their top five, starting five, pretty good. But once you get anywhere past that in the regular season, it's not as much about your starting five. We know it's about your bench and your bench depth. They're not good. They're probably, bottom five in the league.
Well,
that might be generous.
Problem too. Well, every year since the championship, it's been, the bench is weak. The bench, even during the championship run, the bench is weak. Who can we really trust? Christain Braun's a rookie. We don't know if we really want him there. And guys stepped up enough to help the Nuggets win their first championship, but it seems like every year it's the same refrain of they got to strengthen that bench. They got to strengthen that bench. You got all five of your starters now are four of your five starters are on max now. So now you're starting to paint yourself into a corner a little bit too.
Yeah, well, I think it's just been, it's been sad because we even said last year around this time, well, there's no way this is going to be the final product because that bench is so weak. They're going to need to shore it up. And otherwise the starters are going to be forced to play too many minutes. They're all going to be tired. And, we're not going to expect the front office to do that, right? They'll do something at the deadline, right?
Nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, Jamal gets hurt at the end of the season because they're trying to push for the first pick. And then they let him come back too early, and the bench can't hold up. And the starters look exhausted anyway. KCP is surprised they even beat the Lakers, which they looked better than the Lakers in that series, even though the Lakers were winning for most of the game. The Nuggets kind of just didn't care and would just come back. Yeah, but they were exhausted last year, and the bench has gotten significantly worse. And the starters, I don't think got worse, but they're different because without KCP, you don't have the shooting anymore. Christain Braun is a better defender, but he's not nearly the offensive player that KCP was. So it's kind of a wash, but you lose, it's that 3-point shooting. It just keeps going, and they keep not being able to bring in anybody to replace these guys, or Calvin Booth is just stubbornly trying to force Hunter Tyson and Julian Strother. And Strother has a terrible shooting percentage. He plays like a shooter. Hopefully he should become a decent shooter off the bench, but that can't be what you're banking on for the whole year. So I think you're right, Nick, that the team really doesn't feel that good. I wouldn't say they're bad yet, but they feel like a play-in team or just above the play-in kind of level team.
They're a in-season championship type of team.
Ooh, putting up a banner.
Well, one thing I want to say is I think they kind of just stayed the same as far as the bench goes last year, because I think Sarge, like I said, will be able to get involved and figure his way in this offense eventually. I just hope it happens sooner rather than later. And Christian, to go back to my original point, he's not the 3-point shooter, but he does drive the lane. And that's why free throws are so important, because it's like in baseball. If you're a guy swinging at every single pitch, the umpire is more likely to call a strike on the outside. Much like if you're driving the lane consistently, you're a lot more likely to get a foul called when you're driving the lane, because you're making those attempts at it. And so you need to hit the free throws when you get them. And I think that's one big key for this Nuggets squad, because we've also seen the pace of play not really jump a ton from last year to this year, which is a smart move if you're not going to shoot a high percentage from three, is to get your mid-court game your half-court game, mid-court game. I don't know where that came from. To get your half-court game in check and have it run really smoothly. But you got to get to the lane and hit those free throws. And when you have those opportunities for a team that isn't going to have the same shooters or the same type of shooters. Maybe, I mean, if Strother comes along, like you said, cool, like awesome. Like then we have a great 3-point shooter. Like where's Vegas Strother? Like, please, can he stand up? Can he show up? That would be great. I'd love to see him make it rain. So
could the real Strother please stand up?
But they don't have that right now. So you got to rely on your strengths, and your strength is Jokic, maybe the 2-man game. Who's playing point for the Nuggets? Is it Jokic and Gordon bringing the ball up with MPJ right now? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they play against the Jazz tonight.
I mean, the Westbrook Jokic pick and roll will be fun to watch. I don't know if it'll be effective because we're going to see two guys, or it's going to be like a reverse pick and roll where Jokic is the one pulling up for threes and Westbrook is driving. I would still want to see one alley-oop from Jokic to Westbrook. I think that would be a ton of fun.
Oh, we will.
Just with the athleticism. I hope so. It's like Bronny James finally getting his first basket.
Yeah. That's what I need the ESPN update about. Bronny James scores his first points.
Yeah, and the crowd went nuts, which I feel bad for him because but I mean, it's sort of his fault too, but yeah, he can't get away from his dad's shadow. And it's just,
all I need is Bronny to score 20 in a game one time.
Ooh, how much does that win you?
I think like 350.
Fuck yeah. Oh, that should be more. 20? I don't know how many more games he's going to play.
I put so many preseason bets out there. I just the Wembanyama to get 20 rebounds in the game already hit.
That's sick.
I know. It was plus 120.
Yeah,
I know, but it was plus 120.
Yeah, I would take that too.
If he hits 30 rebounds in a game, I win like 650.
That's awesome.
Is a worthwhile bet.
That sounds like closer to Bronny James getting 20 because Bronny James might not play anymore.
Well, but if
he got his moment with LeBron and he got his bucket, so they might just put him in the G League rest of the year now.
One of the reasons why I did that though was because the Lakers injuries from last year were pretty prevalent, and so they had to go to their bench a lot. And so I could see Bronny James having a game or two where he is kind of forced to be the guy. As I don't know what's going on. Yes, another win. I could see Bronny just literally having some games where he might be the guy, and they're just forcing him in there, especially on some of the road trips that the NBA has now made every team take. No matter how much we want to complain about the Nuggets schedule sometimes and how their road trips happen, every team has crappy road trips. And so you can see that happening there. But
try being Seattle.
Is he capable of scoring 20 points though?
I mean, it was worth $10. I mean, is it possible for what?
So Cale scored 20. He's lucky he scored 2.
Yeah, it's like it took him a bunch of games to get his first bucket.
Is it possible Wemby gets 30? Yeah, of course it's possible. I mean, anything's possible. Is it possible Westbrook averages 12 points and 6 boards? Yeah, of course. They're all out there. But I also, one of the other preseason ones was Sabonis hitting 3 threes in a game. Already got that. If he hits 4 threes in a game, that's like $300 also.
That shouldn't be that hard either. Does Sabonis never take threes? Because he's a good shooter. He's a good scorer. I feel like that's
Sabonis. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Sacramento Kings. What's his name?
Sabonis.
Is it Sabonis?
Domantas Sabonis, yeah. Yeah, he's a really good scorer.
Yeah.
That's surprising that's like a plus money bet.
Yeah, it was for the season in any game. There were a bunch of them.
That's crazy because that's like taking Jokic to hit 3 threes. Like definitely doable, but not.
There were no Jokic ones like that, which disappointed me because I would have taken them all.
Every single one.
Oh yeah, I put the random one down of LeBron scoring 60 in a game, LeBron scoring 70 in a game, because I figure what's $10
those games.
He could get the Kobe treatment at the end of the season.
Yeah,
like here you go, you just take all the shots.
Yeah. You know what's crazy?
A lot of things.
You know what's really crazy? When the Denver Broncos have a rookie quarterback named Offensive Player of the Month.
That's offensive.
How about the Knicks? Little, can we get a little applause for another 12 pick, please?
I mean, well deserved. He's had a hell of a season. I'm trying to figure this out. He's had a hell of a start after the first few weeks. This is kind of where I talked about getting a little worried about Knicks. Obviously the start. I talked about the jitters, and then how much like Jordan Love last year. This is almost word for word what I said. He had a few weeks of good play. Then the NFL kind of figured him out, and then after a few more weeks, he got back on track and led the Packers to the playoffs and a huge win over the Cowboys last season. So can Bo Nix? Well, will defenses figure him out or what they're doing? Hopefully not, but if they do, how will Bo Nix react and change his game? That's kind of where I sit right now, because he's starting to do a lot of things pretty good. Obviously, there's some stuff that you want him to improve upon, but for the sixth quarterback off the board that's not named Jaden Daniels, of the rookie QBs, you're pretty damn happy right now, especially after Caleb Williams basically laid an egg last week.
Yeah. It's been fun to watch. It's been entertaining. And we all know I was a believer when he was still in Oregon. And I mean, it's fun to watch him develop though too. And when I was watching the game last week, you just see the little things starting to click a little bit more every week. And I mean, like I said, I wasn't expecting them to take him to the Super Bowl this year. That's never going to happen for the Broncos, but it's just nice to see the development continue. And Sean Payton hasn't been too grumpy so far. So I'm enjoying it.
Well, look here. The thing of it is, Sean Payton post-game press conferences, one of my favorite things. But no, I don't know, man. Like, it's one of those where the Broncos, they don't do anything so well that you have to like stop it. They're kind of just like decent enough at everything to where they can throw different looks and different shit at you every week. That's not necessarily a good thing, but they're using it to their advantage. Like we saw Cortland Sutton get targeted 0 times, then get targeted a whole bunch of times, and they won both games by decent margins. The offense scored, one was a passing game, one was more of a running game. They can kind of do whatever. So unless it's just Bo Nix tendencies in general, or they start like having a spy on Bo Nix maybe, which feels unnecessary. That's probably just an extra defender to not be covering a receiver. But I don't know how much there is to figure out yet, which is kind of nice. But that being said, I still don't know what great of a chance they have this weekend or tomorrow at time of recording against the Ravens. It's going to be a hell of a test, but they're not unbeatable. They lost to the fucking Raiders. Obviously, last week they lost to Cleveland with our guy licking his fingers, Jameis Winston. Like his trainer once told him, man, what did he say?
We talked about this before. I kind of throw that division game out, especially with Jameis Winston starting, because that the Cleveland locker room is who was it? Was it one of their wide receivers or defensive guys who was like, what the hell are we doing when they brought in Deshaun Watson? I think teams quit on Deshaun Watson in all honesty and didn't care about playing or even want to play with him. Neither do masseuses. But I think guys genuinely like to play for Jameis. Jameis is a raw energy, like motivation type of guy. No matter how stupid or quirky or corny he is. Maybe me and Jameis are like long lost brothers or something like that. Just
more you and I.
Colin Winston.
Colin Winston the third. I should get a smoking jacket, smoking coat.
Love it. Love it.
Yes, my bets of the weekend.
Yes.
So,
or should we Jameis Zanker
take the roles?
Jameis Zanker of the Andrews family.
Yes.
I like guys like playing for Jameis, even in his 30 for 30 season in Tampa Bay. there was talks about how the guys love playing for him there in New Orleans. All the guys love him. I mean, there was talk of Sean Payton bringing him in here to Denver as the backup, or even as the quarterback, the starter, to compete. But I think that game against the Browns, yeah, they were terrible all year, but you kind of have to throw out what happened with the Browns beforehand. The Raiders game, that's a classic, playing down, not respecting your opponent on the field. So do they have the same reaction to the Broncos this week? I think the Broncos have garnered a little bit too much credit, and they've played too much good football for the Ravens to take them lightly. But I'm needless to say, I'm worried about them because they have Derrick Henry, and the Broncos against the run have sucked.
Well, and this is Derrick Henry too. That dude can run through a concrete, brick, and wood log wall all at the same time and still score a touchdown. And you're like, how the hell did he do that?
Yeah, that scares me. That's part of one preview on one of my bets of the week. I took all the Derrick Henry stuff, rushing and receiving, 175 yards, rushing and receiving combo is plus like 500. Cool. Give me $10 on it.
Yeah. That would be, yeah. Well, I mean, this defense is good, but they're not superior yet. They've shown holes, and I don't know. At the same time, I feel like they're going to step their game up because everybody's saying things like that right now where, they got to deal with Derrick Henry, and, you got to contain their quarterback and keep him from running around, and they're going to take offense to it and like step up their game a little bit, and it's going to be a 17-14 game at the end.
Oh God, I hope it's a 17-14 game. That means the Broncos have a chance.
Yeah,
like that would be fun to watch. The way I see this Broncos defense though is that they're athletic. They're not big. They're not strong.
No, they're not.
And Derrick Henry is big, strong, and athletic. So you're missing two components there to try and stop him in this Broncos defense. So I worry Lamar's injury. Zay Flowers obviously will be not a part of the game. Or I shouldn't say that. Jesus Christ! Don't torch PS2. Don't torch him. But take Zay Flowers under. Deontay Johnson just got there. Rashad Bateman can't catch a football. So with an injured Lamar Jackson, what are you going to do? You're going to run Henry. So the Broncos better be ready for that. And also be ready for Derrick Henry to try and throw a touchdown. Remember
I had a couple of those last night in my game that I called.
Oh, did you? Some halfback TDs?
Yeah, we'll run and flick it back to the quarterback real quick. I was like, all right, I like this.
That was one of those plays of a player that I loved on a team that I hated, so I still sort of hated him. But LaDainian Tomlinson used to throw touchdown passes, and it would drive me fucking crazy. But yeah, that's what you have to worry about, because I know we were talking about on the last pod how Colin, you thought that Deontay Johnson might actually have a bigger role in the Ravens offense, and it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to. John Harbaugh came out and said he's pretty much just going to be on special teams, which could be smoke and mirrors.
I think that's smoke and mirrors.
But I think they're just going to have him return kicks for the first game and see how it goes. But man, the thing that worries me is the tight ends, because they've just got two really talented, just good players, and the Broncos have done pretty well against tight. Not amazing, but I obviously Will Dissly had that big one with the Chargers, but the Chargers just had the Broncos number too. Like they figured out the best way to attack the defense, which was just consistently and with power running football, even though I wouldn't say J.K. Dobbins is a power runner. It's the style of football that they played, and it worked. He was getting a bunch of yards per carry. I'm going to give Alex a mile-high salute. And that's what worries me, is that the running game is definitely the big thing. We know that's going to be the thing they have to stop. But the thing that we may not be looking at as closely is that, if they can't stop the run, or even if they do, like Surtain can't cover a tight end. I mean, he can, but then you leave the receivers open. Like that's, even with some injuries, they've got a lot of weapons. It's going to be kind of crazy. This may end up being we may need a big play from Riley Moss, or we may need a big play from one of the safeties who happens to be covering a tight end, or hell, Justin Sternad might be covering a tight end. I doubt Quan Alexander is fast enough. I think he's going to be mostly trying to tackle Derrick Henry. And then Cody Barton will do whatever the fuck he can. But, like, man, they've just got a lot of dudes on that offense.
I thank everybody for tuning in, whatever platform you're watching us from, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We love you guys. So like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Go ahead, Colin.
I was just going to say, yeah, you have to have Surtain on Zay Flowers.
I think so too.
You take those other portions, and they have two great tight ends in Likely and Andrews. Andrews went off last week. I know that because he was part of my touchdown parlay that won me $9,000. In case you guys didn't know, I turned 10 into $9,000. So he's become more of a part of that offense since week one. Week one, it looked like, where the hell is Mark Andrews? Week two was like, oh, he's not there anymore. And week 4, 5, 6, and so on, he has been more a part of the offense. Isaiah Likely is still there, who's a very athletic tight end. But you say Deontay Johnson. I don't believe Harbaugh for a second. Deontay Johnson. No. Once Rashad Bateman drops another pass, oh, here you go. Just run a go route. Do whatever.
We'll tell you what the route is before the play.
That's all it's going to take for Deontay Johnson to get in there. And then, is it Riley Moss? Is it Macmillan? Is it Sternat? Like, who's going to be covering these guys? And are you so sold out on the run that Lamar Jackson isn't going to have to make tough plays? That's where it's going to hurt, is the play action, because this is a young secondary. And if they're prone, we've seen it in, obviously we saw it last year a lot more, but they're prone to giving up bigger plays because of selling out for the run. That's scary. That's scary coming up in this game. So
I would rather it be scary, I think, than what the alternative at the beginning of the season was, where we're just like, well, they're gonna get blown the fuck out. So the door's blown off.
Guess I'm going to get breakfast on that Sunday because I'm not going to fucking watch that game.
If Colin will be serving the food to the Ravens this week,
Ooh,
sure.
That's
we all seen
not on the menu.
Cookie run before.
I might not be serving food to the Ravens, but I might have a date with a Red Sox fan.
There you go. I've seen Dumb and Dumber. You just put X-Lax tastes like chocolate. You just put it in
the. Anyway, opposites attract.
There you go.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I mean, let's just throw it out there. How do you guys feel? Give me a little prediction, unless you have it prepared for the victory formation.
No, it's not in a victory formation. It's not a primetime game. Like I said, my hope for this game for the Broncos is that they get blown out. Just because then I think that they'll realize that they really need to stock up on to compete with these top rated teams. I think that's what's the best for the Broncos in the future, in my opinion. But yeah, so I mean 35-17.
Here's Colin hoping for a loss again.
Yeah, but it's only because I want them to get better, because I don't want that false sense of security that this team is good or really are going to compete for a Super Bowl. Like that. Yeah. That's where I sit. They're good. They're much better than I thought, and I will fully admit that I didn't think that these guys would turn into what they are right now or how they played. I didn't think that we'd see them blowing out teams. But I also don't want that false sense of security, because this does, once again, feel a little bit like last year, where they're kind of fluky wins in a lot of ways. And last year was all defensive turnovers and some lucky bounces. So the Broncos have made the bounces go their way this year and continue to put their foot on the pedal. But yeah, I really want them to understand that they're not in the same class as a team like the Ravens yet. I think they're showing that they could be in the coming years, though.
I like it, Joe.
So if they get blown out, so you're hoping to make like a trade at the trade deadline?
If
they get blown out?
I'm hoping that they move on from some player, move on. And this is obviously more of a Sutton thing, but I'm hoping that they do move on. Yeah. This could also be a Garrett Bowles thing. from some guys and accumulate more draft picks in order to move up in the draft and continue to develop these young guys. Because I think right now, Sutton is as good as he has been. I think these young guys need more of an opportunity to grow.
Okay. Yeah, I can take that. I just wanted to clarify. I was like, so if they're going to make a trade, who are they going to get? But no, just draft picks for the future. Gotcha.
No, get rid of guys because the guys on this roster as it currently is constructed are not the Super Bowl. They're not Super Bowl contenders. Are they good? Yeah, they're good, but they're not in the echelon of championships, which is what we want here in Denver.
That's the goal. Yeah. If it's for an actual prediction, it's tough. It's almost like, well, if the Broncos win, it's probably going to be this, but if the Broncos lose, it's probably going to be this. So to actually pick one, well, just because Colin said no, I'll say the Broncos win. I feel like the only way that they do win is because Lamar Jackson is more hurt than we thought, and they're able to get to him. We get him on the ground, maybe get a couple of turnovers. The offense also has to stay consistent on the field. So I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring game. So maybe like 23-20, something like that. 23-17 maybe. We'll go 20. We'll go 23-20. Fuck it.
Nice. I mean, and I already said, I feel like this game is going to be a lot closer than we anticipate. I don't know why. It just feels like these defenses are going to be super stubborn and the Broncos find a way to control Derrick Henry. And Lamar's injury just kind of continues to show itself for what it is, and that's an annoying little monster if you're a Baltimore fan. I don't know. I said 17-14 earlier. I think I'm going to kick that up a little bit to 24-17. And, I mean, that's still a toss-up as to which team is on which end.
The Broncos could easily win this one 23-21 with Justin Tucker missing a field goal at the end because he has not been good this year.
No, he is not.
Because if they rely on their kicker to win the game, not that he's not clutch or hasn't been, but he hasn't been the same guy this year. So the Broncos do have a chance if this becomes a field goal type of game because Lutz has been better than Justin Tucker this year. As stupid as that sounds, I never thought I would say Lutz was better than Justin Tucker in any scenario, whether not even a game scenario. But Tucker's been rough.
Yeah, and congratulations to Cale McCarr, the number one star of the month of October. For the entire NHL. The Avs are kind of starting to trend up a little bit. Still some rough waters that they're going through right now, but I have enough faith in them that unlike the Nuggets start, this Avalanche start isn't going to – it's going to be more annoying come the end of the year when you're like, if you'd have won that game and that game and that game. I think those are how this first month is going to be classified to me.
And that's why everyone gets a poster on this week's show. We had Christian posterizing Rudy, Bo Nix getting a poster for Player of the Month, and Cale McCarr also. Who gets the poster in the victory formation?
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The Pick'em segment proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin just kind of winging it.
This is the victory formation. Welcome in, everybody, to the Real Bets with Fake Money. One of us went 3-1 last week. The other went 2-2, and the person on the poster might be a wanted poster because going 0-4, wanted. Make some better picks. We'll kick things off with the first game that one of the games we chose. It was the Texans versus the Jets. I told you something was up in this game, guys.
Yeah,
when the Jets were favored. When the Jets were favored. And it's true. Jets won this game. Both Nick and Joe picked the Texans. I was the only one to pick the Jets, meaning I won $18. Woo! The next game, Lightning versus the Wild. The Lightning went into Minnesota and got beat 5-3. So the Wild home underdogs win that game. I was the only one to take the Wild. So that means Nick and Joe are both 0-2 so far.
Looking great.
Who's going to break it? Anyone remember who they picked between the Oilers and the Predators?
I remember who I picked. I don't know who won the game.
Well, between the Oilers and Predators, the Oilers ended up beating the Predators in Nashville.
Jesus.
Nick and I both got that one wrong. So Joe at plus 105, the second best odds of the week. You won 20-50 there. And then the Suns and Clippers. Me and Joe both picked the Suns. And the Clippers, Nick obviously was 0 for 4, losing $40 this week. I'll bring you down to 769. Nice. 06. Joe, you were in second place for the week, winning $15.60, but you are in first place overall at $880.26. My $46.70 win for the midweek brings me into second place at $853.02. So basically all within $100 almost of first place. Nick, you're a little bit further down, but let's get on to the rest of this week's picks. We kick things off with another top 25 showdown. Why did I have this on here twice? Okay.
Why not?
I should. Oh, it looks like we're only going to have 3 games for this weekend. That's all right. Nope.
I'm just going to pick that one both ways so I can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, I don't know if you'd. Well, yeah.
I'm just going to hedge my bets.
So we start off with the top 25 showdown in the NCAA tonight. Number 18, Pitt versus number 20, SMU. SMU favored at minus 310. This is at SMU in Tejas. Nick, who you got?
You said it was Pitt and SMU? Sorry, you cut out.
Yep. Yeah, Pitt and SMU.
Okay. Give me Pitt.
Joe, who you got?
I don't know. Fuck it. SMU. Let's do it.
I've already placed a bet on this one. I took Pitt beforehand. Please come and pull out this victory for me, the Panthers. I don't know. Even though SMU, I didn't realize how big of a favorite SMU was. But that is later tonight, so we'll see. We had the Colts and the Vikings on Sunday Night Football.
Ooh.
Colts plus 185. Vikings, who seem to be reeling after losing 2 straight after starting 6-0 on the season. This is in Minnesota. Joe, who you got?
That's tough because you've got the new quarterback bump with the Colts, and you've got we won a whole bunch of games and then haven't won since, I guess, dump with the
Darisaw dump. The
Darisaw dump. Yeah, you got the quarterback bump and the Darisaw dump. I still feel like Minnesota has this, but something about the Colts makes me think I'm wrong. So I think I'm going to take the Colts.
Joe's going with his best friend Flacco.
My guy.
To win this game. I am. This is a tough game to choose, but I do think the Vikings get a little bit of revenge at home. Or not revenge, but I think they just right some wrongs playing at home this week. And Justin Jefferson against this Colts defense should go off. Nick, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, 2 in a row. The Vikings are at home now. You got the power of poutine. I'm going to go with the Vikings.
See, Nick's being a smart man. After going 0-4, he's picking with Colin.
That's good call.
We move on to Monday Night Football. Bucks versus the Chiefs. This one is in Kansas City. Undefeated Kansas City Chiefs against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Like, there's so many pieces of me that just say take the Chiefs. Take the Chiefs. You know what? Give me the Bucks and Baker Mayfield. I can't let it be a sweep for the Chiefs and then the Bucks win. So, like, whatever. I don't care.
Give me the tried and true connection of Baker Mayfield and whatever his first name is.
I know. Whoever they have no wide receiver. I don't know why I'm picking the Bucks. That's why they're plus 360, okay?
It's because Cade Otton got you a touchdown that one time.
I am sacrificing. Well, Cade Otton did get me a touchdown last weekend, along with Kyle Pitts.
A few other guys.
And Tucker Kraft and Sam Laporta and Evan Ingram, my man.
See, there's plenty of offense still there for the Bucks.
No, only one of those players played for the Bucks.
I'm trying.
I'm just. Hey, I am
Nick
doing
wants to
this
pick
for
the
all,
Bucs so
all
bad.
you Broncos, for all the fans out there, so the Chiefs can actually win this one. I'm not making it a sweep. Well, I don't think I am. Nick, who you got?
See, the Chiefs still haven't been playing that great either. I mean, yeah, they're undefeated, but they're not blowing teams out. They're not just the dominating Chiefs that we've all seen and come to hate. And I think they're gonna go lax on Baker, and I think Baker's gonna shock him. He's not gonna destroy the Chiefs, but he's gonna sneak out of there with a dub, like on the last play.
Oh man, now I see Nick following my lead, and I feel cursed.
I mean, but to be fair, I don't think Nick was ever going to pick the Chiefs.
No,
I thought so. I thought you both were going to, and all honesty, I'm whatever. Go
That's
ahead,
okay.
Joe.
You're better at bets. I'm better at reading our friends. One of those things makes you money. One of those things doesn't.
I don't know. Sometimes reading your friends can make you money too.
There you go. Hey Nick, you got $20. I'm taking Kansas City. They haven't been dominant on offense, but they've been dominant on defense, and the offense has been good enough to get them, enough wins. They may not win by a lot against a team with fucking nobody, but I think they're going to do it.
I was trying to sacrifice my bet for the good of everybody.
Thanks, Colin.
And now it turns out that Nick's bad juju is rubbed off all over my bets. And
well, when you do that for the wrong reasons, it doesn't work anyway.
He was feeding the geese, so we'll feed the ducks on the way out.
Yeah. Mess with my Yankees again and see what happens. These are just warning shots, my friend.
Live bet, baby, live bet.
Warning shots. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. We really appreciate you. Thank you to Michael Spillin and everybody over at e5280sports.com for hosting us. Thank you for those of you that are live with us.
Yes.
Don't forget, you can always jump in the chat, and we're more than happy to chat it out with you as well. Tell your moms, tell your friends, tell your mom's friends, like, subscribe, favorite, download, upload. Well, don't upload, we upload. But have fun with us. We appreciate you guys. We love you. For Colin Zanker and Joe Goodwin, I'm Nick Archuleta. This has been Undrafted Uncensored. Until next time, we love you.
Go Broncos!